I have no choice but to give my life to you and give you my all because of what you've done for me. Hey everybody, it's your girl Zamir and welcome back to my channel. For those of you who may or may not know me, my name is Zamir Hundley and I am 24 years old and I make content that is based upon faith, lifestyle, beauty, music, and a little bit of everything, honestly. I am making this video today because I am simply being obedient to God. He had led me to make a video and that's what I'm going to do. This video is specifically to just talk about my journey with Christ and how I got to where I am today. I know that it's like, girl, you making this video and you've made other videos in the past. Like, why didn't you do that then? Well, as you can see, there's quite a big jump in the last time I made a video versus now. And that's just because I was disobedient. I was not leading by God's Spirit and I was doing what I wanted to do. I wanted to make videos like I saw other people making them. I wanted to follow the latest trends and God said, I'm not going to bless any mess. And either you're going to do these videos the way that I'm calling you to do them or it's nothing at all. And that just led me into not making videos. And honestly, all the videos that I could think of were just not organic. So I am in this space trying this again God's way. And I just thank all of you that have supported me and that have pushed me to getting back into this space. I've been wanting to, and I've just kind of been holding off on it. So it definitely just feels good to be back and to be doing this God's way. I'm just going to start with, again, I am 24 years old. I am a believer in Christ Jesus. I love all things Jesus, family, beauty. I am a makeup artist. Please follow my makeup Instagram page at thedaily.face if you are ever in need of anything beauty related. Okay, we got a little light beat going on today. So I love beauty. I love all things just like girly, anything girly. I'm a huge girly girl. I love to cook. I also have been serving in ministry. Technically, all my life, but I am an ordained deacon at my church as of August of this year. Before that, I was a licensed minister. I know it's like, wow, like it's normal for some people to hear that, but it's also not normal. And what I just felt the Lord place on my heart was to share my journey of how I got into ministry, how I got to the place that I am at today. Because a lot of you that may be watching this video, maybe people that know me, and a lot of you may know me either growing up in school together, going to college. I am a BSU alum. Hale State, okay? And some of you may know me from church. And a lot of people assume that I just came out of the womb ready for revival. And that was not the case, okay? That's just a little background of me. And I want to start this by saying I am a musician's daughter. Both of my parents have served in music ministry all of my life. My father is a musician. My mom is a worship leader, a psalmist. Both of them are so much more than that, of course. But I tell people all the time that I am not a PK, but I'm very close to it. Honestly, for me, I believe that if you have any parent that serves in any capacity of leadership in ministry, you see a side of ministry that other people don't see. I grew up kind of not really wanting to do ministry or be at least as deep as my parents were. So the Lord has been pulling and tugging on me from a very young age. It didn't take me much to believe in God and what he could do for me or just what he could do, period. I actually wanted to be a pastor when I was younger, and that was simply because I loved how pastors could preach to somebody and it shifted their mind. It shifted how they felt, like they wanted to know about God. They were inspired, they were motivated. But most importantly, I loved how they helped people. And that's what I wanted. I wanted to help people. Growing up, I was often lukewarm. Like I served in the church, I was singing in the choir, on the praise team. I was serving him with my limbs, but not my heart. I've done that majority of my life growing up. So when I got to high school, that's where things really intensified. I began to learn more about God and I began to know what he liked and what he didn't like. But I struggled with that because I hung around a group of people that did not either believe in God or were lukewarm or surface level and would influence me to do some of the same things that they were doing. And it got to a point where I said, God's not real. He don't care. He don't care about what I'm doing because nothing's happening. And now I know that that was grace and mercy because I would never say those things out of my mouth ever again. I was like, no, God's not real, so I'm gonna do what I wanted to do. And I would do what I want to do. And guess what? I would feel guilty about it. I would feel shame. And it was the same cycle. I would go through this cycle all the time. I honestly lived a life that was one foot in, one foot out. I would post videos of me twerking. This is a part of my testimony, okay? I would post videos of me twerking on Snapchat or something. And then 2 days later, I'm like, oh, God is so good. I'm just so grateful for him. You know, I'm saying all these things about God. And it's like, girl, you was just, you know, and that was a thing. And I kept it on the down low. I tried to get drunk. I couldn't get drunk. Yeah, I really tried to run from ministry. I tried to run from this life because I never saw anyone that looked like me that served in the capacity of ministry that the Lord was calling me into. Like many people that I saw growing up that did serve in ministry, they were old. And for those of you that know, ministry can age you if you let it. And that was something that I didn't want. I was like, Lord, if I'm going to do this, like I want to still be able to wear my skinny jeans, wear my, you know, t-shirts and all the things. Like I still want to be me. I don't want to lose my youth because of this. I'm getting a little ahead of myself, but yeah, that's something that the Lord promised that I would be able to have. But I didn't know that at the time. I was just like, Lord, I was like, no, I don't want this. I've seen how people can get hurt. I've seen just the ins and outs, the ugly, the ups and the downs. And because I was trying so hard to not be the goody two shoes, I didn't want this. Like I wanted to be a bad girl. I wanted to be one that fit in. And I just never could. Where I want to start this. So this is just kind of like the background. As I told you before, I graduated from VSU. And when I got to college, the lukewarmness continued and intensified even more. I was around people that look like me. I grew up going to predominantly white schools, so I was often the minority, but being at VSU allowed me to be the majority for once. And that's what I wanted. I went to a school where people not only looked like me, but were shaped like me, dressed like me. During this time, I was not the modest girly that I am now. I was wearing everything tight. Okay, I wanted to be the president of the plus size community club. Okay, like I feel like it was my job and my duty to do that. I started to get involved with people that were lukewarm. They were believers, but they were, you know, one foot in, one foot out. And at this point, because I experienced certain things in high school, I was like, nope, I'm not going to drink. I don't even like drinking. I'm not going to smoke. But I was like, you know, I liked to party. I did. I would go out. I would go to parties and I dressed a particular way. I wanted the attention. I wanted the men. And I was getting that. I was getting that attention. I was putting myself out there, and what I was essentially asking for, I started to get. But the only thing about it was starting to make me feel sick to my stomach. And I feel like those were moments where God was showing me this is not what you want, but also being able to show me this is what conviction is, because this is not how I want you to present yourself. Like you are so much more than that. You don't need to be putting your body out there for somebody to accept you. So I'm having a good time in college, and next thing you know, COVID hit during my second semester of my freshman year. And at the time, that was one of the worst things that could ever happen to me because I was failing my classes really bad, actually. And I had just told my roommate at the time, who is also one of my very, very close friends. And she's also my deacon sister, Tamari, right here. Love you, sis, if you're watching this. And I was like, we're gonna, you know, I'm gonna get it together. She was kind of in the same boat as well. So we both were like, we're gonna get this together. We're gonna get our grades together. And boom, here comes the email saying that everybody has to pack up their bags and be gone within 3 days because COVID-19 is here and you need to go. I get home and I fall into a depression because I can't go anywhere. I can't do anything. I'm going through an identity crisis. And I was talking to a guy at the time. We're talking for months, and I was just starting to notice that he was not the man that was supposed to be for me. But because I was desperate and because I wanted that attention, I wanted somebody so bad, I just stuck it out because I was like, well, nobody else was coming into my life, so I guess this is all I'm going to get. And I felt like as I started to get closer with God, I was like, maybe I can help him. I can teach him. I can lead him. And that's where I'm going to pause, ladies. He leads you. And that's all I'm gonna say. It was just a lot. At the time, it was just me and my mom living together. So my mom, she had went away because this was during like summertime at this point, and she was gone for maybe like 2 months. And I developed really bad separation anxiety. I would have sometimes friends come over, and the moment that they leave, I am bawling, crying, and I don't know why. I was in a space that I've never visited before. And mind you, I've gone through depression before, but this here was like none other. I think after a while, I started to get back into church. I started watching different online services, and there was one particular pastor that I started to watch a lot more. And I remember one time hearing him say how he had fasted. And I was like, man, I haven't fasted in years. Like, I can't remember the last time I fasted. And I was like, you know what? I think that's what I'm going to try, because I need something to work, like I need something to take place for me because of just what I was going through. And so I went cold turkey. I think I did a 3-day fast. I can't remember if I just did water or if I restricted what I was eating, but I remember like every day was a fight. Every day was like torment for me. I would have dreams. I didn't realize that God was speaking to me and giving me the ability to dream. I would have a dream about something, and then I would wake up and that exact thing would happen. And it scared the mess out of me, y'all. When I tell you, it scared me so bad. I thought I was going crazy. I legit thought I was going cuckoo. I remember things were just getting so heavy for me that I was like, I can't be alone in this house anymore. And I called my mom and I told her, I can't do this. And so she called my aunt and she was like, okay, your uncle is going to come pick you up, and you're going to go to your aunt and uncle's house for a little bit and just take some time. And I'm like, okay. So I pack up my stuff and I'm at their house. And I just want to rewind a little bit because I forgot a key part. So I remember when I was fasting, I had called my former youth pastor and I had told him that I was fasting. And the reason why I say former youth pastor is because during this time period, I was not attending any church besides the online church I was going to. I didn't have a pastor or anything. And so he was kind of like the closest thing to me when it came to a pastor, because he was the youth pastor at my former church. So that's why I say my former youth pastor. So I called him. I told him this is what's going on with me. And he was like, oh, be careful with that. That's preparation. And I was like, preparation? Like, what you mean? Like, what am I preparing for? And he was like, it's just preparation for, God to do something in your life, just kind of like giving me a little bit of an explanation. And I'm like, oh, okay. So that's when I go to my aunt and uncle's house. And I think that night I was able to sleep okay. I had went to work, and then coming back from work, I felt like something was just physically pushing on my chest. I felt numb. I could barely eat. I just felt like I was at my wit's end. And I remember being on the phone with my mom, and I was just like, I just need a hug. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Because she was like, Samir, like, what's wrong with you? What's going on? And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know what I need. Like, I need a hug. I don't know. Like, I'm crying. I was shocked that I was crying because I couldn't get myself to cry. You know how sometimes when you try to force yourself to cry and it doesn't happen. So next thing you know, my mom tells my auntie, she gets no, I'm crying, and I think my aunt, she hears me crying in the room. And she's like, what's going on, Zamir? And my mom's like, I need you to hug Zamir. So my aunt begins to hug me, and then my mom starts to pray. And before you know it, I'm crying, bawling, crying, as my aunt is hugging me and my mom is praying. I'm crying. I am just releasing it and allowing God to have his way. Because at this point, I'm like, Lord, I need you. And like, I was scared at what was taking place, because I'm like, I've never experienced this before. I don't understand it, but God, I'm just gonna let you have your way. And I'm crying. And before I know it, I'm starting to like stammer on my words. And I'm like, ooh, like what's going on? And before I know it, I'm like starting to speak in a language that I've never spoken before. And I kept trying to fight it because I'm like, this cannot be what I think it is. So growing up, like my mom, she would always speak in tongues. And I was like, okay, that's something that she does. Like, that's not something that I will ever do, because I wasn't aware of what speaking in tongues was, or like, like how you receive it. I wasn't really knowledgeable on that. And I grew up in a church that didn't really teach about speaking in tongues. So I didn't know too much, but I felt like I had the ability to speak in tongues, because there would be some moments when I would watch the online church where I would be worshiping and I would feel myself about to say something, but I would stop myself. I'm like, no, 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 no. And we were like, we don't do that. We don't do that. But I'm starting to speak in this language, and I'm stopping myself. And then it got to a point where if I was speaking English, it would physically tire me out. So like if I was speaking English right now, I would be like I was huffing and puffing, because it was so hard to, I couldn't resist anymore. I feel like that was God's way of being like, stop fighting it. So before I know it, I'm just speaking in tongues, and I felt as energized to speak in tongues like I'm talking to y'all right now. But if I would try to go to English and I would try to like resist, I would be like literally out of breath. That was the moment where I received the gift of tongues, and also where I heard the Lord's voice for the first time audibly. In that moment, he affirmed me. He spoke to me about what he was calling me to be. And he just spoke a bunch of things and revealed so many different things. And it was scary, because he revealed what I was called to do. And I immediately said in my spirit, no, because of what I told y'all before. Everyone that I know that serve in ministry at my age don't look like me. They're old. And I don't want to be old. Like, I feel like I'm going to be old, God. Then he began to speak to me. When I said that, he was like, and this is all taking place like in the spirit, right? And so he was like, pretty much saying that he was going to surround me with people that operated in the same calling that I have, and that, we would be able to communicate, like we would be friends, all the things. Because at the time, the friends that I had were my friends from college that were still being lukewarm and that weren't living the same lifestyle. So I was just like, God, how is this about to work right now? Because you see who I'm hanging around. When he revealed that, I'm like, okay. So that night happened, and from there, slowly but surely, the Lord just began to remove certain people from my life that weren't supposed to be there. He began to surround me with the people that he said have the same call that I have. And I began to develop godly community. I started to learn more about God. I started to learn, more about him through his word. I started to grow in music ministry. I would go on live and just be singing, like just crying and singing. And a friend or someone would get on and we would just talk about God for hours. And, this is the COVID era. So like we had nothing else to do, and those were honestly the beginning moments of my ministry. And I thought it was beautiful, because now looking back on it, I'm able to see that like I was processing as time was going. I was growing in ministry slowly but surely, not realizing that social media is a ministry. Singing is truly a ministry. Being able to evangelize, all those things. Like I started to learn slowly but surely, like what I'm doing is ministry. This is regular. Like this ministry doesn't have to always be within the four walls of the church. I just continue to do that. I continue to network and meet people online. And, I was growing. I was growing in my relationship with God, and I was walking in what he had for me all along, because I started to experience a freedom that I've never experienced before. During this time period, the Lord was really working on me. He was revealing me to myself, because like I told you, I was going through an identity crisis. I didn't know who I was. I was at a point in my life where I couldn't tell you what I liked if you asked me, but if you asked any one of my family members, they could tell you. And that was a problem for me. So the Lord took me through a process where I got to get to learn myself. I prayed a prayer where I said, Lord, reveal me to me. And when I tell y'all, that prayer right there, top tier, because the Lord don't mind. The Lord does not mind showing us to ourselves. And he began to show me the good, the bad, and the ugly. I began to learn I was judgmental. I was rude. I wasn't nice. I was bitter. I was holding unforgiveness. There were so many different things about me that the Lord began to show me. If he didn't take me through the process of what I went through, I wouldn't have been able to receive some of the things that he was revealing to me. But because he was so loving, so patient, so kind, so forgiving to me, I was so open and just so ready to fix and learn and do whatever I could to get close to him, because I'm like, wow, God, I spoke down on your name for years. I disobeyed you for years. I disregarded you for years. And here you are coming to me and giving me gifts and revealing yourself to me, revealing me to myself, reminding me of who I am in you and who you called me to be. Like, I have no choice but to give my life to you and give you my all because of what you've done for me. Fast forward, I'm continuing with growing in God by doing Instagram lives. I'm singing, I'm getting better in my word. I'm talking with people about God and sharing, bits and pieces of my testimony. And then it's time to go back to Virginia State. So like I said, I left a freshman and I came back a junior. So I'm back on campus. And that was an interesting journey because I'm now coming back on this campus as a new Zamir. I no longer wore the tight-fitted short clothes. At this point, I'm now dating my boyfriend of 4 years now. I love him so, so, so much. And I'm a whole new Zamir, and I'm no longer like outside Zamir. I'm inside Zamir, okay? Like, I'm not going to parties. I was praying in my dorm room with my friends during certain parties. I do want to say this. I did not lose my personality when it came to me growing in God and growing in ministry. I feel like a lot of people feel as though once they give their life to Christ, they have to stop doing everything that they feel is fun. Now, of course, when you come to God and you were living in a particular lifestyle that is not of him, what was fun for you before coming to Christ cannot be your fun, if that makes sense, when you're in Christ. So if you going out and clubbing and excessively drinking, having sex, all the things that was fun for you, you have to find new ways to have fun. But I'm telling you, get around the right people. And when you really get grounded in God and you see the freedom and the fruit that you have in your life when it comes to doing life his way, it's so much more fun. I thought I was having fun going to parties, being out and dressing a certain way, but what's really fun is being able to go on a date with my boyfriend and we can go to like Top Golf, or we can go bowling, or go to a concert and I'm fully clothed and he's still so in love with me and he's giving me all the compliments in the world and we're just enjoying music, having a good time. We're not being extra, we're just having a good time, enjoying each other's company, and I have a peace of mind. I'm not anxious. I'm not worried about how I look. I'm not trying to compete with anybody. Like, that is fun to me, because when I was in the world and I was doing what I wanted to do, I thought I was having fun. And yeah, it was fun because I was in sin. But now that I'm in freedom and I'm with God, this is 10 times more fun. I'm telling you, like, it's so much more fun when you're just in God and you're doing things God's way. So yeah, I just wanted to put that out there. Like, there's so many ways and so many things that you can do to have fun being a believer. Like, go to the movies, go hiking, go to an open mic night, go to dinner with friends, do a paint night, do a candle making night. Fun is not just surrounded by drinking, smoking, sex. Fun is what you make it, but it's definitely so much more than what society tries to make of it. Like I told y'all before, I'm young and I'm in ministry, but I still like to have fun. I still go to concerts. I still listen to secular music. I love R&B. I love jazz. I love hip hop. Like, I was a trap girly, okay? I was a real big trap music girly when I was in college and even before college. Like, I loved rap music, and that doesn't stop. Like, I don't listen to a lot of the rappers that I listened to before. I don't think I actually listened to any of them, but I love gospel rap. And if a song from back in the day come on, if a little Ice Cube or something turn on, I may do a "Today Was a Good Day." You know what I'm saying? Like, it's okay. It's okay to still have fun and keep your youth. Like, you don't have to lose that. But it's important to know your boundaries, and it's important to know when too much is too much. It's important to know when enough is enough. And it's important to know, like, what are you really intaking in your spirit? So, like I said, I was listening to trap music. So I really can't listen to trap music for real, because um it was just talking about what? Money, sex, drugs. You know, it was derogatory towards women. How can I be a woman of God and I don't call women or men or anyone out of their name, but I'm listening to music that calls people out of their names? And, you know, the Lord doesn't do that with us. So, like, why should I listen to music that does that? So it's stuff like that where you have to really examine, okay, what are my boundaries with this thing? Even with TV and movies, I don't watch sex scenes in movies and TVs. I skip past it because I have to guard my eye gates. I want to keep my eyes pure, and I want to keep my eyes consecrated. And so, to keep myself pure and right with God, that's something that I have as a standard. But it's not to say that I don't watch movies at all, but I have a boundary with some of these things because I know that what I used to do are things that I can't do now. And honestly, y'all, it protects me and it protects us as believers. Like, we have to understand that we are not able to keep ourselves. The word says, now unto him who is able to keep you from falling. My pastor said this to us one time. You are not able to keep yourself. So it's really God that has to keep us, because if it was up to us, we'd be watching these scenes. If it was up to us, we would be doing the Burger King, having it our way and doing what we want to do. And so if we don't place these boundaries, we will think that we're strong enough until we realize we're not strong enough. For some of us, we may not have that realization until after we have fallen. So I just want to say this to anybody out there, that boundaries are not for the person, it's for you. Boundaries don't make you look weak. It actually makes you look stronger, because it shows you and God, I in this fleshy body cannot keep myself. Like, only you can. But just going back to what I was talking about before, junior year, I am no longer outside Zamir. I'm inside Zamir. I had a single dorm room also. So, like, I was really always inside my dorm. I had, I think, maybe 2 classes that were in person, but for the most part, all of my classes were online and asynchronous, meaning that I took my classes by myself. I was pretty much teaching myself the curriculum. And yeah, I was inside all the time. Like, it was very rare if I came out of my dorm. I really only came out of my dorm to go to the caf, or if I had choir rehearsal, or my boyfriend wanted to come see me. Those were really the only times I came out of my dorm. And I'm not gonna lie to y'all, it came with some grief. Like, I was grieving my old self. And a lot of people don't talk about that. And I think it's something that we should have more conversation about, because coming from a lifestyle where this was what you thought, you know, you were for however many years, to then coming into a new lifestyle and then realizing, man, I'm no longer with the majority, or people are noticing that I'm not this person anymore, and they're bringing it up to me. Like, I had people say, like, dang, Zimmer, like, you really aren't outside. I barely see you anymore. Like, you really be out the way. And that used to eat me up, y'all, because I'm like, no, like, I'm always outside. Like, I'm always in the way. I don't want to be out the way. I want to be in the way, because I loved that attention. Those were things that I fed off of and wanted to do because of an insecurity that I had, of feeling like I wasn't enough, or feeling like I wasn't a part. So I would put myself in people's way. I would put myself in the center so I could have that attention to fill that void and that validation, not realizing the Lord had already filled that void. But I was grieving because I'm like, man, you filled that void, but it came with a cost. And the cost at the time to me was not being in the center, not being in the light. That was hard. That was really hard, because growing up, I've always, in a way, been at the center of things, but at the same time, I always still felt alone. I was on the step team in high school, and I was the captain for, I think, 2 years. And the step team had majority of the Black girls, but I was also one of the very few plus size women too in my school. So being not only a Black woman, but also being plus size, like it gained attention. And I would do splits and stuff like that when I was on the team, and like people always were like, oh my gosh, like she just did that. And like I loved it because it made people look at me. Being a singer, being in choir, that got me attention. So I've always in a way been the center of attention, but still had an insecurity. And the Lord was showing me during that time in college, I'm feeling and I filled that insecurity. Like, I've affirmed you. I'm telling you who you are. And that's all that should matter. You don't need for anyone outside of me to affirm that, or, you know, to see you. Like, you have been fighting for somebody to see you, and I've seen you your entire life. Yeah, it came with grief. And I really want to say to anyone out there that it's okay. It's okay to grieve your old self. It's normal. You're not crazy. It happens, and it's happened or happens to all of us. I was actually just having this conversation with someone about grieving your old self. And I basically said, when it comes to grieving your old self, do not beat yourself up on it. Like, yes, it's easy, or it sounds like, no, I should feel bad because I was doing this, I was doing that. It makes sense, right? But it's a normal thing because, like I said, you were this person for X amount of years. And now you're this person, and you have to get to know this person. And it's kind of like a fight because it's like you're trying to walk in this person full throttle, but then you have people, you got pictures, you have memories of what looked like a beautiful life. And what I had to do, and what I told this person, was back it up with truth. For example, I would tell people like, man, it was real fun when we would go to the gym jam. And it's true, it was like, it was a fun time. But I'm like, child, I'm just so glad that I'm on this side because this is real fun. What I'm doing now is so much more fun. I'm so much more at peace. I'm not trying to prove myself. I'm just being me. And so I'm able to acknowledge, yes, this was fun, but it was only fun because I was living in sin. But what I'm doing now is far greater and far better because of X, Y, and Z. Because sometimes, like, I would have moments where, even being in God and growing in God, where I would still struggle with attention seeking. And I would be like, man, I just like miss the days where I was like always at the center. But then I have to sit and think like, okay, like, wait, like, why do I really miss it? And I'm like, I only miss it because I was able to get what I wanted. I was able to feed that insecurity. So what I'm going to do now that I've identified this is I'm going to take it up with God. Let me make sure that God deals with that because I don't want to fall into this. So I hope that makes sense. It's really just identifying or acknowledging what it was about your old self that you missed or that you liked. Getting to the root. Why do you miss it? Why do you like it? Or why did you like it? Also being able to honor and see where you are now and understanding why you can't go back here. But as I started to grow with God, I started to become more in love with what I saw in the mirror. I started to become more in love with the woman I was becoming. I was seeing myself grow from a girl to a woman. It was like, wow, like little Zamir, you know, is becoming a woman, and she's becoming a woman of God. She's becoming a woman of standard, a woman that now has standards for herself, that now has boundaries for herself. And these were things that I had to develop before my boyfriend even came into the picture, because the Lord was like, until you know who you are and you are only satisfied with what I say and with what I want for your life, ain't nobody coming in your life. So the Lord took me through a journey where I had to learn myself. I had to learn how to love myself, love every part of myself, the good, bad, and the ugly. Fast forwarding, I began to have thoughts about creating a ministry. I was like, I feel like there needs to be a space on the campus of VSU for young adults like myself to have a community of believers that they can talk to. We can worship, we can pray, we can learn about the word together, because I need to know if there's anybody else that's doing this for real, because I'm really trying to do this for real with God, and I don't need nobody to pull me back. And I had this thought during the pandemic. And I remember my boyfriend challenging me and being like, well, like, what's stopping you? Like, why, you know, like, why won't you do it? And it was because I wanted somebody else to do it, because I was like, there's just no way. There's no way that God could be calling me to do this. Like, get somebody else to do it. But lo and behold, the Lord laid it on my heart to start the ministry. I know that we all kind of hear this sometimes being said, where If you see a problem, be the solution. Don't wait for anybody else to be the solution. If you're the only person that sees it, be the one with the answer. And that's what I did. So I began to just pray and talk with some friends at the time about the ministry and what, I would like for the space to be. And lo and behold, by March of 2021, because we came back on campus like fall, I think fall of 21. So by March, spring semester, I began to start my very own ministry, which is called Enjoy Ministries at Virginia State University. The page is enjoy.ministries on Instagram if you are a college student or just in the Petersburg area and would like a faith-based community. That is definitely a community that I would suggest. And it's not just because I serve as a founder or advisor or whatever over the ministry, but it's just simply because it's an amazing space and something that I believe every college community should have. If you are in college, you need godly community, whether it is through a campus ministry or a church nearby. You do not have to join the church, but just be plugged in, be there, be present, because truly, college is just so tough. It's truly a big sin fest. Like, it's so much around you, and you are going to need that extra help from not just God, but others that can pray on your behalf, that can be with you, that can stand with you in what you're going through. Because college, you're going through so much. It's so many transitions. It's so much life going on, not just while you're on campus, but back at home with your family. So you need that. And so I created that. I started the ministry, and I didn't have a blueprint on how to go about this, but I just went with God, and I was able to get some wise counsel along the way. But for the most part, it was just me and the team that I had. And we just went for God the best way we knew how. We didn't do like a churchy service. We would have prayer nights. We would start off with prayer. We would do praise and worship. We would go into a word. And before I know it, the Lord is showing me how to cultivate Bible studies and how to build a sermon. It was crazy because I'm just like, I cannot believe that I am doing this. I never saw myself building sermons and having Bible studies and going before the Lord, praying and like just leading a people. I've always known that I would be in ministry, but I always thought it would be for music, for worship leading. But I never thought that God would also call me into preaching and teaching, evangelizing. But honestly, I feel like my upbringing definitely helped a lot. Growing up in church has helped me a lot along the way with leading and learning how to be a leader and how to not be nervous. I do still get nervous when I have to do anything in front of anybody, but because of my foundation of growing up in church, us, having to do offering and things of that sort, it's made a lot of things that I do today easier. I do consider myself an extrovert. So yeah, like it's just something that wasn't really too hard, but it was just very, very shocking. Up until today, I serve as the executive advisor as well as, the founder of the ministry. So I do continue to help and assist and build the next group of leaders that come into the ministry and take over, which is a blessing. And I've learned so much growing as a ministry leader. I know that this video is more so about how I got to this point. So if you guys would like a video about what it's like being a ministry leader and how I do that, I can definitely make a video about that if you guys would like. Just thank God, because he really could have said, nope, I'm done. I'm not about to keep going back and forth with her. But he spared me and gave me another chance and gave me the opportunity to experience his grace and mercy and share my testimony with others, with y'all, and use it for his glory. And that's honestly just my life's goal. It's just to give God glory, even with my story. And I will say this, being a Gen Zer or just a young adult period, having a pastor in a church home is so important and so essential. I know that there is so much controversy about having pastors, having leaders, but I'm a firm believer of having a church community and having pastors. Actually, I have a scripture to back this up. It's Hebrews chapter 10, verse 25. And it says, and let us not neglect our meeting together, as some people do, but encourage one another, especially now that the day of his return is drawing near. And I believe that that scripture speaks not just to gathering in church, but just the gathering of community as believers. We should be surrounded in community. If Jesus himself had community while he was here on earth, what makes us think that we aren't to have community? God is our example. Jesus is our example. So if he had community, if he fellowshipped with people and spoke with people and gathered with people, what makes us think we aren't to do that? If Jesus rested, what makes us think that we aren't to rest? And I find so many people, not just young adults, but just people in general, feeling as though like, I don't need a leader. I don't need this. God can speak to me about my life or just about whatever. And yes, he can. But there are people that the Lord has ordained to be in these positions, like pastors, prophets, teachers. Like there's so many different offices and positions that the Lord has given specific people to help us along the way. Just as God has given us therapists and doctors and coaches and so much more, and we use them on a day-to-day basis. We use them all the time. It's the same way in the kingdom. So where is the disconnect? And I understand that some of us may have experienced pain and hurt from people within the church that serve in some of these positions. But my prayer and my challenge is to forgive and try it again. You just never know what may be on the other side if you try again and forgive. Having a pastor, a good one at that, is so essential because I started leading out in Joy at, I think I was maybe 20, 21, 22. And so I didn't know everything. And I needed someone that could not only help me and give me, the ins and outs, but I also needed somebody to cover me. Because for those of you that serve in college ministry, you know that college ministry is not like regular church. There's a different approach that you have to have going into college ministry and just ministry for young adults, period. There are going to be certain people that you encounter on these college campuses that have never heard of Jesus, that don't know about Jesus, or grown up in the church and they strayed away for whatever reasons. And you have to have true strategy and grace to know how to approach these conversations, or to, evangelize in a way where they don't feel condemned or speak even just their language. There's certain jargon that we use in church that we can't use with college students or young adults, because it's not going to click. And that's why having a pastor is so important, because having a leader, I've been able to learn a lot of these things. And I don't just learn things about ministry, but I learn things about life with my pastor. I have such good leaders, and I pray that for each and every one of you that are watching this video, that you will come into contact with amazing leaders that are pure, that will nurture your gifts, and that will love on you, that will be with you through it all. As you guys can tell, this was a journey. This came with a lot of patience, a lot of work. I didn't come into ministry wanting to be up here and wanting to be honored. It was just simply because I wanted God to get the glory, and I wanted people to have a safe space. People think that when you come into ministry that everything is glitz and glamour. Your problems and all of the struggles and things that you have go away, not realizing it doesn't work like that. Some of these things will forever be a thorn in our flesh. It will take a process. We don't get the quick fix. I've never been a quick fix person. The Lord just won't allow it for me. And so I've had to learn how to journey with God, and journey with community, and journey with the leaders that he's given me to help me through some of these things that I'm enduring. So that's just a little bit of how I got here, how I got into ministry and being a leader and just growing in my relationship with God. If you guys would like a part 2 on what being a leader in ministry, looks like for me, now, I definitely can make a video like that. That's something that you guys would like to hear and watch. But I just pray that this video blesses you guys and just lets you know that the Lord is a redeemer. He truly is a redeemer. He's truly someone that loves, and he loves hard. He said in his word that nothing can separate us from his love. And so I just want anyone to know out there that you are not too far for God to reach you. You truly are not too far. His hand is not too short. His arm is not too short that he cannot reach you. He can meet you right in the place, yes, Lord, that you are in. But I also want to take this moment to pray the prayer of salvation for anyone that either want to rededicate your life to Christ or you want to give your life to Christ. So if you can just bow your head with me and repeat this prayer by saying, Lord, I thank you for your son, Jesus. I thank you that you have called me into your own. Lord, I believe that you sent your son, Jesus, here to die on the cross for my sins. I believe that he lived, that he died, and that he rose just for me. So, Lord, I invite you into my heart, and I invite you to change me, and I invite you to renew me, and I invite you to have your way in my life. Take me, Lord. I am yours. And it's in Jesus' name that I pray. Amen. If this is your first time giving your life to Christ, or if this is a rededication for you and you prayed this prayer with me, I want you to let me know in the comments by saying saved. And I would love to just congratulate you and celebrate with you. But I just want you to know that you have made the best decision that you could ever make in your life. I want you all to know that God just loves you. He's with you, and that he's never changing, never failing, and he's always watching. Okay, I love you guys. Thank you so much for watching this video. I pray it blesses you. Please don't forget to like, comment, share this video, and subscribe, and turn on those post notifications if you would like to know the next time I upload a video. Remember, we are trying this again, and you will see another video from me coming soon. I love you guys. Mwah.